Hello everyone, my name is Ritesh Gupta and you're watching the Pentester Guy. Today is the day 5 of CS practical tutorial and I'll be discussing cryptography today. So let's get started. So this is the flow that I have been following for past 4 days. Today is the day 5 of cryptography, and if you want to clear your doubts regarding the other topics such as scanning network, enumeration, traffic sniffing and steganography, you can check out other videos that is present in this playlist. So what is cryptography? If you want to learn, then you can deep dive using different blogs or video tutorials, but as an intro I would like to tell you that basically cryptography is a practice of securing information so that only the authorized person is able to read it or understand what is actually the secret, and it involves basically transforming the original content into some gibberish or unreadable format, and this is basically done by passing the original content through some programs or set of instructions or tools. After that ciphertext is sent to the receiver, and if the receiver have the key, then he will be able to decrypt the ciphertext and will be able to get the secret data in a readable and understandable format. So basically the goal is to protect the sensitive information. It could be anything like personal data or any super secret like military secret or financial transactions, and at the end it ensures that the authenticity and integrity of the information is maintained. So now we'll be dealing with some of the tools such as HashMyFiles, Cryptool, BCText Encoder and CryptPodge, VeraCrypt. These all tools are Windows based tools and will be heavily dependent on Windows operating system to solve the questions related to cryptography. So one by one we'll be looking all these tools. These tools are basically used for hiding data or hiding the disk partition or obfuscating the data. So HashMyFiles in this case is used for comparing and calculating hashes of different files. You can compare hashes of different files at a time. The Cryptool is used for encrypting and decrypting the data, and the file format is in hex, and we do so by manipulating the key length while encrypting and decrypting. The BCText encoder is a tool that is used for encoding and decoding the text file. So there is a difference between encryption and encoding. If you wanna know and learn with the core concepts and the difference, you can go to different blogs, you can Google your queries, and after that we'll be looking with the CryptForge tool that is used for basically encrypting and decrypting the files. You can assume it as if you want to put a password on any file, then you can do so using this tool. And at the end we'll be dealing with VeraCrypt tool. This is super interesting tool. You can use it in day-to-day life for hiding the disk partition, and if this doesn't make sense to you, it will. So let's get started. This is a practical time. Let me bring my VM to the screen. So first of all, I want to tell you that I already created some of the text or sample encoded data to demonstrate in this lab. So I'll be using all this data to demonstrate you with each and every tool. So first of all, we'll be looking with the HashMyFiles. As I already told you, this tool is used for calculating different hashes at a time. So suppose you have been given a number of files and you have been asked to compare the hashes of the file to know whether the file has been tampered or someone has tampered the data into the file. You can use this tool. Okay, so let me bring back the sample data and the text file. I guess this will make sense. So suppose we have 4 files. I'll select all these 4 files and simply drag it into this tool, and we can see that it already calculated the MD5, SHA-1 and SHA-256 hashes, followed by n number of other hashes. So we'll be focusing on any one of the hash like MD5, and we can see that all the hashes are different for each file. So what we get to know is the data in each file is different. That is why we are getting the different hash values. Then I have another folder called secret files, and I'll select it and I'll drop it here as well. Now you can see that there is a change in the background color from white to pale yellow and pink. So what this says is maybe the data that are in file 34 and the data that is present in the secret file 34 is tampered. What this means is the file 1 and secret file 1 have the same file hash. That means the data is not tampered and the data in these files are same. So let me open secret file, and now let me open file 1, and we can see that data in this secret file is secret 1 and data in file 1 is secret 1. That means the data is same. That is why we are getting the same hash. And for file 2 and secret file 2 as well, the data is same, but data in the secret file 3 and file 3, secret file 4 and file 4 is tampered. So in file 4 we have hello123 as a data, but in secret file 4 we have secret 4 as a data. So in this way we can say that secret file 3 or 4 or file 3 and 4 is tampered. So that's all about hash my files. Now we'll jump to another tool, that is CryptForge. So after installing this tool, you can download it from the internet, and after installing this tool you will get an option to encrypt or decrypt a file. So suppose in this scenario I am selecting file 1 and I'll hit a right click, then I get an option of encrypt. Simply I'll click on encrypt and I'll be pop up with a window where it will be asking me to give any password. So for this file I'll be giving password as a password. Let's reconfirm by giving the same password and we'll hit OK. So what we can see that now this tool is used to encrypt the file 1 and no one will be able to access this file except you. When we double click on this file, it gets open by passing the password that we set for this file. So now we can see that we are able to open the file, but previously it was locked. For the same scenario, I have a sample secret.txt. Suppose you got a file which is encrypted and you have been asked to open it using the CryptForge tool. You just simply click on it and decrypt it. And for this file, I have set the password as hello. So we can see that now it is unlocked and we'll be able to read the secret. So we can see that it's a gibberish data or it could be a hash file. Why not to copy and search online for this? We'll go for hashes.com to decrypt the hash, and we'll paste here the hash and submit search. Okay, so we got to know that the secret was root. So in this way we can utilize the CryptForge tool to encrypt the files and decrypt it, and you can use it in your day-to-day life as well. So now jumping to another tool, that is BC Text Encoder. And what this tool basically does is encode your data into the hex format file. Suppose I have data as hello there. You all will clear the CEH exam, and what we can do is we can simply encode the data by passing the password. For this as well, we'll pass password as a password and we'll reconfirm it. We'll hit OK, and it is now encoding our secret. So when you see a file starting with this banner, begin encoded message, version BC Text Encoder, it's simply a hint for you that you have to use the BC Text Encoder tool to decrypt it. So let me clear this, and for this scenario as well, I have created a file which is already encoded as a BC encode secret, and we'll be using this to get our secret. So when we click on this, we see that we have gibberish data which is in an encoded form, but we have a hint as well that it is encoded using the BC Text Encoder tool. What we can do is we will simply copy all the data and we'll move to our tool, and we can paste it in the encoded text tab, and we will hit decode. When we will hit decode, we'll get a pop-up to enter the password. For this, I had set a password of hello@1234, and what we can see that we got a plain text which is secret is something, and this could be a hash of something as well. We will again copy this and we'll again switch to our hashes file online tool, and we'll hit on search again, paste our hash and submit and search. and we got to know that the secret is password. So that's it about this BC text encoder tool. So that's all about this BC text encoder. Now we'll switch to another tool that is required to learn for this cryptography phase of this exam, which is the crypt tool. So this is our tool, that is crypt tool, and this tool is interesting as well. Suppose you have been given a file, and in our scenario I have already created a sample file for you to demonstrate what can be done using this tool. So we'll be utilizing this encode secret, and so we'll be utilizing this encrypted sample secret.hex file to open it. So what we are supposed to do is we'll hit on file option, then we'll hit on open, and we can open our BC encode secret, all files, hex. So this window demonstrates us the hex file format of what the actual secret was. So we'll open a sample secret, and this is the secret which is present in the sample secret, and the hex format for this secret is shown in this window. So what we can do the analysis, and we could be provided with a specific algorithm to encrypt or decrypt the file. So we'll hit on analysis, then we'll get an option of symmetric and asymmetric encryption. For this scenario, this is encrypted with the RC4 encryption. So we'll go for analysis of RC4, then we'll be given another window, and it will ask us that what is the key length that you required to decrypt it. So in my scenario I have used the 16-bit. In your scenario it depends upon the question. So we'll simply hit on start, and we get to know that after decryption there is some secret that is available to us, and this is the secret. This can be utilized to submit your flag, or it could be further asked that whether it is an encrypted one or what type of encryption is this. You can also be asked to decrypt it. You can simply use the hash.com, as I already told you that you can use this hash.com to decrypt the hash and submit the flag. So that's all about this crypt tool, that you can utilize it to encrypt or decrypt a file. Now we'll jump to another tool, that is our VeraCrypt. So let me open this tool. So when we open this tool, we get this interface where we get option of different volumes. So what we are supposed to do, we are first supposed to create a volume to encrypt it and then decrypt it. But in your scenario it will be asked to directly decrypt it, because it will be a challenge for you to decrypt and get the original content from a file. Okay, so for this scenario I'll be using some of the files. Suppose I'll be using file 1 to file 4, and I'll copy it. We'll go to our local disk, because we'll be utilizing some space from our disk to hide a partition. So what we are supposed to do is we'll hit on create volume option, then we get a different option, but for this scenario we'll be going for create an encrypted file container. Then we'll hit next. Then we have two options. First one is the standard VeraCrypt volume, and the second one is the hidden VeraCrypt volume. This lab is specific to this option, that is hidden VeraCrypt volume. And then we'll hit next. Then we'll hit normal mode for creation. Now this is the phase when we'll be selecting the volume location. So we'll click on select file, come into RC, file name, now we'll give the password for the outer volume, and let me show you what actually it means, the structure of the VeraCrypt. How? So this is basically the structure that VeraCrypt is utilizing to hide a partition into another partition. So what we do is we create an outer partition, then we create an inner partition, and and this inner partition is what we hide. So this is the outer volume or the outer partition. We'll hit next, and we'll get an option of the algorithm that we can use to encrypt it. So in this case we are using AES. We'll hit next, and we want a partition of 50 MB suppose, so we'll hit 50 MB, and this will be the password for outer partition, that is the password for this space, the blank space that you see. So this will be the password for outer partition, and we'll hit as outer 123, and we'll confirm it as outer 123, and we'll hit next. So it's giving a warning about the short and easy password, but we'll proceed for this lab scenario, and we have to scroll our mouse pointer on this window so that randomness can be collected. Okay, so it turns to green. Now we can simply format it. So our outer volume is created. Now we'll hit on next, and we get an option to proceed with our hidden volume. We'll click next, again next, and inside that 50 MB we'll be utilizing 20 MB of the space to hide our volume, and for this our password will be inner123, and again inner123. We'll hit next, proceed with it. We'll add some randomness using the mouse movement until it turns green, so we can simply format it. We get a pop-up of successful creation of the hidden part. We'll hit OK, we'll hit next, and now we'll cancel this window. We'll come to our C drive, and we can see that this is the file demo which is created, and we'll be utilizing this because this is the actual partition what we talked about. So this is the partition of 50 MB, and inside it we have a hidden partition as well. So now we have to mount this partition. We will mount as option. We'll select a partition name, suppose L, and we'll hit on mount, and we have to select a device as it said. So our device is this demo partition. We'll hit on select file, we'll go to our C, we'll select demo, and we'll open it. Okay, now we'll again hit on mount, and it will ask for the partition's password. So now the scenario is, if you want to give the password of outer partition, then you will get the data that is present in the outer one, and when you want to give the password of the hidden partition, then you will get the data that is present in the hidden partition. So how it can be demonstrated? It can be done as first let me give the password as outer123 to open it, and now we can see that in our computer we have another drive, that is local disk L. Let me open another. So for demonstrating the inner and outer partition difference, what we can do is, for the outer partition we will be copying our file 1 to 4 in the outer partition, but the inner partition is hidden. Okay, so we'll close it, and we will dismount all or dismount it. So it is discarded. Now we'll again mount the same thing, and now we'll give the password for inner partition, that is inner123, and we'll open it. So we got the partition mounted, and we can see in the type it is showing as hidden. So when we'll open this partition, we'll go to C, this PC local L, and now we can see that there's nothing in it, but we have copied the file because the copied file is in outer location, and now we'll copy some of the files in the inner location or the hidden partition. We'll copy all the secret file into this partition, and we'll simply go back to our tool. Let me close all this. We'll go back to our tool and we'll dismount it. Now let's go to this PC, and we see that there is no other partition. So first thing we achieved is the hiding of a partition. The another thing we achieved is in a hidden partition we have another hidden partition. So again we will mount this partition that I named it as a demo. So we'll mount it and we'll get an option to give the password. Now this time we are going to give the password of inner123, and we'll get the files from secret files 1 to secret file 4. And we can see that the inner partition of 20 MB with AES encryption algorithm and a type of hidden is mounted. And we'll go to this PC to see, and we saw that, and we can see that local disk L is present and our hidden parts or the secret file from 1 to 4 is present over here. So that's all about this VeraCrypt tool. This is interesting tool, you can utilize it. You can think of a real life scenario. Suppose of a ransomware attack, or someone forcefully asks you that hey listen, you have some secret file, and on a gunpoint he is asking you to give that file or show the secret inside that file. So first of all, there will be no exposure or disclosure of the fact that you have some hidden secret location. So in this case we can dismount it first. So in this case we know that we have another hidden partition, but it is not visible. Suppose the attacker already know that you have a hidden partition and he asks you to open it by giving the password. So you can simply open it by giving the password of the outer volume. Then he will not be aware of the fact that there is another hidden partition as a inner volume. So this is interesting tool, you can use it. You can use VeraCrypt and CryptForge in your day-to-day life, and these are open source tool as well. So that's all about this video. Thank you so much. Keep supporting, keep sharing my channel, and if someone is preparing for this exam, do share the playlist. And if this playlist and video helps in your preparation, do give a 5% of your credit to this channel, because it's 95% you who are doing the hard work and learning the things. And all the best for your exam and preparation. I'll be back with another video that will be focused on issues or the attacks on web application and Android.